Hello and welcome to our show, What Matters Most. We're here today to discuss a topic that we discussed previously, and it has to do with yoga, meditation, and this time we will also speak about Reiki, which is something I was recently introduced to. It's so interesting, and we all, I think, need some kind of help sometimes. And I have a guest today who will be speaking about it. Her name is Trula Daugherty, and she's actually one of my yoga teachers. Welcome to the show, Trula.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I know you were out at a wedding somewhere in Oregon, I think.
It was actually in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle, right. Well, welcome back, and thanks for making it to the show. And I've been fascinated by your classes because you actually introduced yoga in the community we live in, which is ALT, Auburn Lake Trails. And what made you, let's talk about it because it's so important to so many people. What made you decide to start the yoga program there?
Well, it actually had been started, but it needed a yoga teacher to be the lead. So in working with Amy and Sue, I took the lead, and I keep with the POA with what they need. I schedule the times and trying to add on more classes. Right. So we have been adding.
It's amazing. I am very grateful that the yoga program exists there. And so would you like to tell us a bit more about the benefits of yoga?
Oh gosh, the benefits are so many. So I can give you some examples of my personal story, and that is I started just to get exercise. I was doing a lot of different exercises. I was doing Pilates. I started yoga and found that I was drawn to it more because of the calming benefits. I was working in the corporate world, and, with all the deadlines and things have to work. I was working in IT. It was overwhelming at times.
Absolutely. I know. I worked for IT companies for over 10 years. So
my husband found that I was calmer. So, there'd be times he'd say, well, maybe you need to go to a yoga class.
I seem to know that kind of reaction also from Matthew. He tends to know when I have not had my yoga class.
And then, as my life has gone on and going through health issues, loss of family, various things, it has taught me, in raising teenagers, it has taught me to act instead of react. And being able to clear my mind. As you know, yoga has the health benefits of lowering blood pressure, calming, and then the strengthening, the flexibility, the balance. As I've gotten older, it's huge. And
it's important. I've fallen a few times, so I know what you're talking about.
and then I had a fall about a year ago and hurt my shoulder, and it has helped me get my mobility back. Concussion.
It's just the benefits are immense. We cannot list all of the benefits, but for me it is all of the things you said, as well as being more flexible when I do things like walking. I get less painful knees, and I'm able to swim. And when I do not go to yoga for 2 or 3 weeks, I feel my joints are stiffer. They're much harder to sort of move along. And
I think one of the best compliments I have had as a yoga teacher is I teach online, as you know, and one of my students sent me a picture of her sitting on the floor with her grandson. And she said, "Thanks to you, I can now get up and down off the floor." And that sounds so simple.
It's everything, isn't it?
It is. And I just went, oh, how sweet.
That is very sweet.
Yeah.
And you know, the rest of our viewers, people who are listening to us now, we have probably a lot of yogis listening to this, but for those who have not experienced it, what would you say to them? Would you like them to sort of come forward and come to your class?
Absolutely.
Or other classes near their homes?
So I would encourage people to start with a gentle yoga. If they know nothing about yoga, go to a gentle class. I teach chair yoga, and it is, start with movement.
Right.
And my teachings are geared for over 50 plus, because
I love your classes.
And it's not a normal yoga class. It's a slow, mindful class. It is very much incorporated with the breath. As you well know, it's like inhale, exhale. You'll hear it 1,000 times.
Yes.
And doing the slow movements, slight movements, it helps with our joints. It helps with the movement. Simple,
Just
rolling the
wrists,
wrists and the ankles.
Yeah.
So my thought is, if we're all living longer, not everybody, but more
in
people,
general,
right?
The whole.
It's
universe.
Maintaining a quality of life, and
Absolutely.
that is my goal, and helping people to learn how to heal themselves.
That's a big one. I believe that one day we will not need doctors. Not that doctors are not, they're so important, of course. Medicine will always be important, but I think there are certain illnesses, mainly mental health illnesses and even physical pain, that can easily be treated by mindfulness and by practicing some kind of yoga, meditation. And let's talk about Reiki, and then we'll go to meditation, because a lot of people know meditation, but not many people know what Reiki is.
Reiki the Reiki that we're taught to share with people came from Japan, from Dr. Uzui, and it is a technique that helps you to calm your body, and you're receiving healing energy. So it works with the chakra system. It helps to remove blockages. When we hold things inside of us and we have blockages, it can turn into diseases.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I have had wonderful success in doing Reiki sessions. I had breast cancer 5 years ago.
That's right.
And even though I've been doing Reiki since 2001, I was doing it on myself, but I went to someone else because the emotions that you go through when someone says the word cancer, I knew that I needed that help on me. And it helped me to calm down, to kind of clear myself, connect with my higher source. And I have not had any problems other than that. Reiki was not the only thing I did, but it's a very important thing.
It's a part of that trio, yoga,
Right.
meditation, and Reiki combined can have immense health benefits. And let's go back to the cancer, because it appears that you and I had breast cancer about the same year, the same
Right.
time. And you kind of treated yourself somehow. did you use a lot of the heavier treatments? Did you have to go through chemo, or did you?
No, I did go through radiation. My first reaction was, I've had a good life.
If I have to go.
If I have to go, I have to go.
You have to go. Yeah.
And they insisted, go talk to the doctors. Just go talk to them. So I did. And I did do the radiation. And the only reason I did it was someone pointed out to me that it wasn't just me, it's my family too.
Yes.
And they kind of said, you're being a little selfish.
Please go get some professional treatment.
So I did the radiation. I refused chemo because of my mother died of chemotherapy.
Oh, I see.
And I do understand they've come a long way.
Yes.
But I'm also a person that feels if your life goes with the way you think. And that's something I know is subconsciously within me, so I refused it. And the kind of cancer they said I had, that if I could make it 5 years, it would probably not come back. And it's been
5 years.
It's been 5 years.
Congratulations to both of us.
Yes.
The 5-year mark was achieved for me last weekend on Saturday.
Oh, congratulations.
That's when I had my double mastectomy and reconstruction afterwards. So,
but I will say, with the yoga, the meditation, the Reiki, the various things I did, it helped me get through that time.
Absolutely. And what I want to talk about now is the services you offer, and please feel free to give out your website. You do offer Reiki, and I was a recipient of that. I went and I want to do it again. I think you did say I needed to do it like 3 times at least to sort of keep it up. I think we're coming up to I think it's the 2nd or 3rd month or maybe longer. So what are the services? So you do offer, you do yoga Tuesday mornings?
I do
at the Loft.
In person.
And online, what's your website? How can somebody join you?
My website is Trula. It's yogawithtrula.com.
That's easy. Yogawithtrula.com. It's Trula's Trula.
Thank you. Yes.
So I think that should be able to get a lot of people involved in.
And I don't have my schedule on there, but I'm going to put it on. I do chair yoga, restorative yoga, the slow mindful yoga. And I do training with a yoga therapist, but I'm not a yoga therapist. But as you know, I try to incorporate that in my teachings.
Absolutely. Mindfulness is so important. I personally get a lot out of your classes. As I mentioned earlier, I have, problems with my knees and the flexibility, but also the fact that you're able to stop for a whole hour and just take care of yourself, and women in particular take care of families. I take care of my husband, and I have a granddaughter, and my daughter does not let me babysit that often because she's such a hands-on mom, but she does sometimes, and when I have my granddaughter with me, it's just such a wonderful delight. She's delightful. So what I think this world is going through, and I try to keep away. I used to be a news person. I was a journalist. I was a broadcaster for 17 years. I started with the BBC, Voice of America, and I also worked in France for Radio France International. Those are very stressful jobs. And then I went into the corporate world with IT. And so there are so many people who don't understand the importance of stopping for a moment to take care of themselves, especially women. I know I asked this question before. What would you say to them? But how can we make this world a better place by having mindfulness, by having people take care of themselves. It's like when you're on a flight, don't they tell you to put on your seatbelt first, and then you put the seatbelt on your child? Because you can't save the child if you don't save yourself.
Yeah.
So isn't that the philosophy that we should all follow in life?
Yes. I think everybody should, when you first get up in the morning, take the time, to, even if it's 5 minutes, to meditate. Or just find gratefulness.
Yes.
You know, there's various things
Gratitude
you can do.
is so important.
It is saying that. One thing I don't think I've done it at the barn loft yet, but I have an affirmation that I've been working with my chair yoga, and it's day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better.
I love that.
And
it's good.
And this was another thing that, you know, the cruise fire we had recently.
Yes.
Two women came in and they said, this is what got us through being evacuated. They were, you know, evacuated from their homes.
Right.
And so what I want to encourage people to do is spend 5 minutes by yourself, find inner peace. Inner peace is critical.
It is
if we can come to a point that more and more of us
absolutely
can have inner peace, and as you have inner peace and you go out into the world, people sense that.
You're basically helping other people feel grounded and more relaxed by just being in your presence, because you're emitting the positive energy that
absolutely
comes from that. And I do get that from you, and I am so grateful, because I did not realize how much I needed those yoga classes. And then I go also to Sue's class, and she was here in our previous show. She has a book out, The Wayward Yogini, which, you know, is a great book, and she's also a blogger. She blogs. About meditation, we talked about breast cancer before. I started doing meditation when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. A friend of mine from Brazil, wonderful, wonderful friend, and everyone should have a friend like Nara. Nara is wonderful. She was far away from me, and it's funny because she was diagnosed almost the same day with thyroid cancer, but she took the time to call me in New Hampshire where we were living, and she said, don't give up. This is the time to feel good about yourself and heal yourself and look beautiful. Go to your chemo sessions looking glamorous and feeling hopeful and smiling. And she said, look, I know somebody who was triple negative. I think you were triple negative.
Yes.
And I wasn't. My sister was triple negative. Unfortunately, she did not make it. Betty. She was only 43. She passed away.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a pain that will live with me forever, but I think she, you know, I knew that I was prone to having cancer because my mom died of cancer, my brother died of colon cancer, my sister died of breast cancer, so I knew I was high risk.
Right.
But she called and she said, Louisa, don't give up. You bring light wherever you go, even with the cancer. I said, how can I do that? I have cancer. I can't be cheering other people up. And she goes, no, I have a friend who's triple negative, and she did that, and she had lost a bunch of her family members. She lost her mom, she lost even the male members of her family died of breast cancer. And so she had it in her family, and she said, I am not dying of this disease. So she took the approach of being positive and saying, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to go through all the treatment that my doctor wants me to go through, but I'm glamorous, I am going to and so she said, do you want to speak to her? And I said, okay, reluctantly, okay. Then I spoke to her, and she went through. She said, this is the attitude my mom had, my brother had, the very defeatist, it's cancer, so too bad. I'm, like you were saying, I've lived a life, I might as well just go. And even though her mom was so young. And she said, don't do that. She said, you go there as a winner. Go into your chemo sessions as a winner. And bring your friends and family, those who want to support you with, to surround you. And I did that. I followed the advice. Thank you, Nara. And I don't know if that's what helped me fight the cancer, but I'm the first surviving member of my family because everyone who's had cancer died in my family. I'm the first one not to die. So
congratulations. That's huge.
It's the mental. You're talking about affirmations. You have to say to yourself, I'm good enough.
Right.
I am enough. And if you don't, disease takes over because it's like there's a relationship between your mind and your body, right?
Even though I said I've had a good life, I knew down deep within it wasn't my time. And it has a lot to do with our thoughts. Absolutely. I think because I had done Reiki and I never thought I would have cancer, even though it's in my family. It was during that time of, it's hard to accept. It's like, how could I have cancer? I'm a Reiki master.
Right.
And
I had a friend like that. She was a natural healer. She specialized in Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And,
So, first of all, it's like, okay, there's a reason. I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to learn whatever it is.
Yes.
And I think, thinking back of my whole life, the hard things you go through help you to help others through.
Absolutely.
And I think that has a lot to do with anything we go through life. We're here to help other people.
Absolutely. I just love that. Now, I always ask this question in my show. We all go through life and experience different things.
Yes.
And at this point in your life, you figured out what makes you feel good and what helps the community feel good. But what matters most? I had people say health, sleep, education, What do you think matters most? I mean, if you had a couple of words, like 2 or 3 words to describe what matters most.
Health and body, mind, and spirit.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that connects everybody. I like the word unity.
Yes.
Unity is great.
Yes.
So I guess you get that by exercising, all those things, mindfulness. And I think we have a couple of minutes. And there's one thing about sleep that I wanted to talk to you about. I have been sleeping better taking melatonin, so maybe my body is not making enough melatonin. And you told me that you found out that waking up at 3 a.m. and doing meditation and starting your day that early is a good thing.
Yes.
How come? Isn't that too early?
No.
Isn't that when we actually go into deep sleep?
I think everybody's body is different.
Okay.
But I'm a morning person. I've always been a morning person. Getting up at 3 is my time.
You found it.
I found
just by experimenting with
right. And I need at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to, I always read something inspiring or spiritual. I take the time to meditate, visualize how my day's going to be. Doesn't always go that way. But
things happen.
Things do happen.
Yeah.
But to set my mind straight and be the best that I can be.
So that's the time, and then so you do those 2 hours meditation and all that, and yoga, and then you kind of think, let me start my day, and then so at 5 a.m. is that a time when you
That's when
start your, house cleaning. I do about 2 hours because I have 2 cats, I have a dog, and there's a lot of stuff I need to do in the house before I even go to yoga at 9:30. So you hit the 5 a.m. and then you do your chores and take care of your family, and then you go give a yoga class, or you do it online.
I start preparing for my yoga class, because right now I'm teaching every day.
Oh, good.
And
good.
Except Sunday and Friday.
Yeah. Right.
And it's doing the preparation work.
Right.
Making sure the sequence I want to do is important.
Absolutely.
And what events am I going to offer?
That's amazing. So what is, before we go, what is your wish, at this point? Bring more students into your class, sign more people up, have an impact on people's health, because you do Reiki on a private basis in a
I
local...
am going to start offering Reiki classes.
Okay, good.
And
good.
Do more around that. But I want more people in my classes.
Okay.
My classes are small because I don't think people understand the importance of slow, mindful yoga. I don't mind small classes. I love having the time to spend with people, getting to know them.
Right. I'm the same. I actually prefer the slow yoga for different reasons, but it seems to work for my mind and my body, because when I do it fast, I don't have time. Oh my gosh, how am I going to sit down? Oh my gosh, how am I going to, if it's fast, it's okay for exercise, in terms of moving faster, but it's not okay in terms of the mind. Settling the mind, because as we wake up in the morning, we're like, what are we going to do today? And I volunteer, and today actually we have the opening of our show, and it's going to be exciting. We're very excited about God of Carnage opening at the Gomez Arts Center in Auburn, but doing that having that little bit of break is great. Before you start your day. So.
That is, and you were talking about sleeping. There are specific breath exercises you can use if you're having trouble to sleep, that I have had a lot of people tell me has been very helpful for them.
Oh, I will meet you afterwards. Yeah, I'm going to meet you afterwards to discuss that, because I probably need it, and I don't mind taking the melatonin, but I think every little bit helps. And I hear from so many people that they have difficulty sleeping, and when you hit the 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m., then you sort of want to do, you're up, so thank you for that. We will meet afterwards.
Okay.
But I think we're coming to the end of our show, and I want to thank you so much for coming. And again, your website is yogawithtrula.com.
Yes.
And please go to yogawithtrula.com. You can do it online, or you can come to Cool, or that's where you teach, at the Barn Loft, or online, and benefit from Trula's teaching. She's truly amazing, and I can't speak enough about how precious she is. She's been wonderful in my life, and hopefully you can benefit from that, or yoga instructor near you. Do not neglect yourself. We are important, we matter, and we should heal ourselves so we can heal society in general. And thank you so much, Trula, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, I want to recognize Philip Jack, who's been here filming us. He's wonderful, and come again. We'll be here next month for another edition of What Matters Most. Thank you. So we talked about triple negative breast cancer. It's one of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer. Only 20% of people get it. But what it means is you are estrogen negative, progesterone negative, and HER2 negative. Those are the hormones that doctors base treatment upon. So if you're triple negative, all of those are negative. So if you were estrogen positive, for example, then you would receive a different type of treatment. And today we also talked about Reiki. What is Reiki? It's a treatment it's been used for many, many years by the Japanese, and it's now adopted in Western cultures, which entails using your hands. The healers use their hands to go over your body and to remove negative thoughts and negativity from your body. It's believed that energy really works, and I experienced it